In this video, we're going to introduce the superphylum Ecdysozoa. And you'll notice that there are two phyla that are listed here, so Arthropoda and the roundworms, which are also known as Nematoda. And then there's actually another phylum that's not listed on this phylogenetic tree, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Tardigrada. These animals are protostomes. They have bilateral symmetry and they are trophoblastic. They have true specialized tissues. And of course, they are animals. We'll talk about Tardigrada and Nematoda in this video, along with the general characteristics of the superphylum Ecdysozoa. We will talk about arthropods in a separate video. So here are a few notable characteristics of this superphylum. They do have specialized tissues, and these tissues form during embryonic development. So they are triploblastic, meaning that they have 3 germ levels. So during embryonic development, they develop an endoderm, an ectoderm, and a mesoderm. And these are the layers that ultimately develop those specialized tissues. They do have bilateral symmetry. They're also protostomes, which means that during gastrulation, this blastopore is going to form a mouth. Another common characteristic in the superphylum is the presence of a cuticle, which serves as a tough, flexible exoskeleton. And exo means outside. So this is really kind of like a shell almost, in that it's outside the organism giving it structure rather than having something like bones inside. And this exoskeleton helps to protect the animal from desiccation, which just means dehydration or drying out. It also helps protect from predators and other environmental factors. And the name of this superphylum comes from this process known as ecdysis, which is more commonly referred to as molting. And this word actually means to take off or strip, which I think is kind of funny. And so you can see in this picture down here, these are cockroaches. And this is the molt of a cockroach. So this is basically the exoskeleton that has been removed or left behind. So there's no longer a cockroach in that exoskeleton. So essentially what happens is when these organisms need to grow, what they have to do is they essentially shed their old exoskeleton and they kind of move out of it. And then they form a new exoskeleton after they have kind of expanded. We're going to talk about 3 phyla in this superphylum. We're going to talk about phylum Nematoda, phylum Arthropoda, and phylum Tardigrada. Phylum Nematoda include animals also known as roundworms. They are pseudocoelomates, so they do not have a true body cavity, but they do have a body cavity that forms between 2 of their germ layers. There are free-living and parasitic species, and they are found in most habitats around the world. This particular nematode, known as C. elegans, is often used in research, and that's because it shares a lot of genetic similarities with humans. So they can study these organisms and study genetics, especially genetics associated with aging, and they can use it as a model organism for humans. And because they are an invertebrate, they don't have to worry so much about the ethical considerations of doing research. And we're not going to talk a lot about phylum Tardigrada, but I wanted to bring them up because they're really cool organisms. They're also known as water bears, and they are microscopic, but you can kind of see that they almost look kind of cute. And they have this ability to do something called cryptobiosis, and they can go into a somewhat dormant state and they can survive extreme conditions. They've even taken tardigrades into space and they've been able to survive in the coldness and lack of air pressure and dryness of space. So they're just really cool critters.